All right, Shalom, Shalom. Let's get right to it. Giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Shema Shai. Bell on to the apostle, brothers, elders, the great millstones. Shalom to the host of the elect. Shalom. So we see the title, The Prophecy Against Babylon. So we're just going to get right into it, the scriptures, and move along into it. Let's go to Proverbs 11, verse 21. Proverbs 11, verse 21. It said, I was getting thy hand joining hand. The wicked should not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. Right? The seed of the righteous shall be delivered. Hold on, let's keep right into that one more time. Proverbs 11, verse 21. It said, thy hand joining hand. Thy hand joining hand. Thy hand joined in the hand. The wicked should not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. So, what's that? 11. Let's go to Proverbs. What's that? 16 and 5. Yeah. Proverbs 16, verse 5. Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. The hand joining hand should not be unpunished. Proverbs 16, Proverbs chapter 6, verse. Make this chapter 1. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 16. There are 16 the Lord hate. Yes, 7 are abomination unto him. A proud look, a lying tongue, a hand that shed innocent blood, a heart that devise wicked, and imagine foot that be swiftly, and the running to mistress. Fault witness that speak lies, and him that sow discourse among brothers. Right? Let's go to Proverbs 6, verse 15. Therefore, she has calamity come suddenly should he be broken without remnant. Right? Isaiah 14, verse 21. Isaiah 14, verse 21. It said, prepare slaughter for his children, for their iniquity of their fathers. They do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the faces of the world with city. Verse 22, for I will raise up against them, said the Lord of hosts, and I will cut off from Babylon the name and remember, and sons and nephews, said the Lord. And I will also make it possessed for the bitter and poor. No, I think that's not what I want. But we're just going to go back to 21. Isaiah 14, verse 20. Will prepare slaughter for the children, for the iniquity of their fathers. They do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the faces of the world with city. Right? Prepare slaughter for the iniquity of their father. No, prepare slaughter for the children, for his children, for the iniquity of their father. Yeah. All right, what else? Jeremiah 49, verse 10. Jeremiah 49, verse 10. It said, I had made Esau bare, I had uncovered his secret place. and should not, hold on, yeah, cover his secret place, and he should not be able to hide himself. His seed is poor, and he is, and his brother, and his neighbor, and he is not. Leave the father's children, and I will possess them. Lie, and I will let the widows trust in me. For thou said the Lord, behold, the whole judgment was not to drink of the cup, have surely drunk it, and are that he that should altogether go unpunished? They should go, they should not go unpunished, but they should surely drink of it. Right, they should surely drink of it. For I swore by myself, said the Lord, that BAbYLON shall become a desolate, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all that city thereof shall be perpetually wasted. Right, well, it should be perpetually wasted. Um, Verse 14, I heard a rumor from the Lord, and the Asper, let's see, always, um, hold on, let me see something right quick. I always forget. Get it right on my tongue, but oops, upset. Is it Albert? No. What is it? It's Jeremiah 49, verse 14. What's that? Fluent,
ambassador,
fluent,
envoy,
minister, ranking below, advancement, and above, charging. See what it is. What's this?
consul,
Council. Often appointed by a government to live in former city protected. What else?
legate,
Like a deputy.
deputy,
Okay.
ambassador,
All right, as we did again, Jeremiah 49, verse 14. It say, I have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an advancement is sent unto the heathen, and say, gather you together and come against her round up to the battle, right round up to the battle. Verse 15, for lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men. That terrible had deceived thee, and that had proud of thy heart, O thy dwelling in the chest of the rocks, that hold the highest of the hills, the that shall make thyself nest, that make thy nest as high as the eagle, and I will bring thee down from thee, said the Lord, right? Said the Lord. Also, Edom should be desolate from everyone. Uh, what? He messed me words up. Hold on. Was that Jeremiah 49? Yeah, okay. But again, Jeremiah 49, verse 17. Also, Edom should be desolate. Every one goes by it shall be astonished, shall hiss at all the plagues thereof. Jeremiah 49, verse 10, it said, but I had made Esau bear, I uncovered his secret place, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brother and his neighbor, and he is not. Right? So let's get right to it. Not trying to make this too long. Give you some points. right.
Professor Ortiz, I'm glad you made it from Gainesville, from Florida, so hard hit by the hurricane, to Raleigh last night in North Carolina. But the two of you participated virtually in this event this weekend. Talk about what happened 103 years ago. The significance of what the African Americans in Elaine, who were landowners, business owners, professionals, calling for better compensation for their crops, what happened to them.
Thank you, Amy. And it's such a great honor to be with Julia Wright. And what happened was that African Americans in Phillips County, Arkansas, around Elaine, Hoop Spur, were really beginning to get organized. It was the World War I era. The price of cotton was increasing. But most importantly, African Americans were making major gains as landowners in places like Elaine, in places like the Black Belt of Alabama and northern Florida, all across the South. W.E.B. Du Bois noticed this. And because of these gains and because of the role that African Americans played in World War I, their expectations were rising. And the white power structure mobilized against these rising aspirations. It's important to mention, as you mentioned, Amy, that many African Americans in Elaine around Phillips County owned their own land. And those that did not were on the way to becoming landowners. And they were beginning to organize unions in Elaine, but all throughout the South. And the Progressive Household Union in Hoop Spur and in Phillips County, Arkansas, was really coming together with a plan not only to increase land ownership among Black farmers, but to begin to farm and market their produce cooperatively. And this was seen as a threat by the white power structure. They mobilized against it. They began to attack farmers, Black farmers, even before the Elaine massacre. And Julia Wright mentioned her great uncle, Silas Hoskins, who was lynched because he was a successful Black businessman. And so all of this came to a head during the Elaine massacre when Black farmers in Phillips County reached a level of organization where hundreds of Black farmers were joining the union. And this is when the white power structure struck back. And there's a number of legacies that come out of this, Amy, that we tried to address at the 103rd anniversary of the Elaine massacre, organized by the Elaine Legacy Center in Elaine, Arkansas. You know, one of the legacies is this legacy of Black land loss, that African-American farmers have been driven off the land in places like Elaine, in places like Florida, in places like Mississippi. Another legacy, as Judge Wendell Griffin said at the symposium, is the criminal justice system. Amy, it's important to remember that hundreds of African Americans were massacred in and around Phillips County, Arkansas in 1919. Not a single white perpetrator of this violence was ever put on trial. Instead, African American farmers were put on trial. They were known as the Elaine 12. A nationwide crusade organized by people that you mentioned, I.D.B. Wells, the NAACP, Walter White, Scipio Jones, a local Black attorney, very heroic gentleman. They had to organize a national defense campaign to help get these men some justice. It results in Moore v. Dempsey, a landmark Supreme Court case in 1923, in which the 14th Amendment is brought to bear. The convictions of those men, 6 of them, by the way, convicted, sentenced to death, all of them tortured brutally, electrocuted, whipped, coerced into testifying against their peers.
And Professor Ortiz, there were 500 U.S. soldiers who were involved in the killing of hundreds of African Americans in this massacre?
Yes, Amy, this made a cover-up much more difficult compared to other anti-Black massacres, say in Rosewood, Florida, or the Ocoee massacre in Florida. The governor requested federal troops. These troops were supposed to restore order. In fact, many of them engaged in the massacre. They shot people down in the streets. They shot people down in the woods. And so, again, those murders were never prosecuted.
Well, we can't leave it there, so we're going to continue this conversation and bring you part two at democracynow.org. Paul Ortiz, professor of history and director of the Samuel Proctor Oral History Program at University of Florida, Gainesville, and the Julia Wright, the daughter of the literary giant.
Let's go to Isaiah 10, verse 1. Isaiah 10, verse 1, it says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and their written grievousness would they have prescribed, right? Woe unto them, man. Destruction. Isaiah 10, verse 1, it says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and right grievousness which they have prescribed. In verse 2, to turn aside needy from the judgment, to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be the prey, and they may rob their father, man, right? And what will I do in the day of visitation, and in the desolate, where shall I come from far? To who will I flee from help, and where you will be your glory? Isaiah 10, verse 2, turn aside needy from the judgment, and take away the right from the poor of my people, that widow may be the prey, and they may rob their father. All right, move on. Let's go to Jeremiah 50, verse 1. Jeremiah 50, verse 1. Jeremiah 50, verse 1. Yeah. The words of the Lord spoke against Babylon, against the land of the Chaldean by Jeremiah the prophet. Declare you among the nations, and publish and set up a standard, and publish and seal not. Say, Babylon is taken, Babylon is confounded, Melda is broken in pieces, her idol is confounded, and her image are broken in pieces. For out the north there came up a nation against her, which should make her land desolate, and none should dwell therein. They should remove, they should depart, both man and beast. Verse 4, in those days, and in the time that the Lord, the children of Israel should come, they should, the children of Judah, together and go. I don't know. What are we all at? Skip that. Let's move on. Let me see. Hold on. We see what's going on. Okay, read verse 13. Yeah, because the wrath of the Lord, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be whole, desolate, and everyone that go by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plays, right? All her plays. Put yourself in the arrow against Babylon, and round about it, that then the bow shoot at her, spare no arrow, for she has sinned against the Lord, right? She has sinned against the Lord. Verse 70. What's what I want? That was it on this one. Yeah, Jeremiah 50 verse 29 called together arch against Babylon, all that bend the bow camp against her round about. Let none thereof escape, recompense her according to her works, according to, to all that she have done unto her. For she had been proud against the Lord, against the Holy One of Israel. Right. That was it on that. Let's go to Jeremiah 51. Jeremiah 51, verse 8. It say, Babylon is suddenly falling, destroy hollow for her, take blame for her pain, for it shall not, no, it shall may be healed. For her pain is, if so, let me again, Jeremiah 51, verse 8. Babylon is suddenly falling, and destroy hollow for her, take blame for her pain, for if so be, she may be healed. We will heal Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go, everyone to his own country, for iniquity. Her own country for her. Now that's not Jeremiah 51, verse 8. No, verse 9. We will heal Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. Let us go, everyone, to his own country, for her judgment has reached up to the heaven and lift up even to the sky. Let's go. What's that got? Jeremiah 30, verse 16. Jeremiah 30, verse 16. Jeremiah 30, verse 16. Therefore, all that devour thee should be devoured, and all that adversary, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they shall. Hold on, stop. Again, Jeremiah 30, verse 6. Therefore, all that devour thee should be devoured, and all that adversary, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee should be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey, right? For I give it. What is it? Yeah, Amos 1:11. Let me turn this up. Amos 1:11. Oops. Amos 1:11. Thou said the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and before I would not turn away the punish thereof, because he had did pursue his brother with his sword, and did cast all pity and the anger, and did tear perpetual, and kept his wrath forever. Right, you kept your wrath forever. Amos 1:11, thou said the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, and I will not turn away the punish thereof. But he had did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast out pity, and his anger did tear perpetual, and he kept his wrath forever. All right, what else I got? Let's try to get 2 more. And see, I'm gonna go back. I got one more thing I do. Oh yeah. Oh, it's Zephaniah. Zechariah. Let's go right into it. Oh, no one. Yep. Zechariah chapter 11, verse 5. But who possess slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they said to themselves, blessed be the Lord, for I'm rich, and their own shepherd, pity them not. Right? They hold themselves not guilty. And look at this again, man. You know, they hope themselves not guilty. Man. Don't want to come up on that, huh? Hold on for a minute. All right, let's go into this. Check that out. Okay. That's what I'm trying to do. Hold on. Yeah. There you go. Oh, then come on in.
Is the criminal justice system. Amy, it's important to remember that hundreds of African Americans were massacred in and around Phillips County, Arkansas in 1919. Not a single white perpetrator of this violence was ever put on trial. Instead, African American farmers were put on trial. They were known as the Elaine 12. A nationwide crusade organized by people that you mentioned, I.W. Wells, the NAACP, Walter White, Scipio Jones, a local Black attorney, very heroic gentleman. They had to organize a national defense campaign to help get these men some justice. It results in Moore v. Dempsey, a landmark Supreme Court case in 1923, in which the 14th Amendment is brought to bear. The convictions of those men, 6 of them, by the way, convicted, sentenced to death, all of them tortured brutally, electrocuted, whipped, coerced into testifying against their peers.
And Professor Ortiz, there were 500 U.S. soldiers who were involved in the killing of hundreds of African Americans in this massacre?
Yes, Amy, this made a cover-up much more difficult compared to other anti-Black massacres, say in Rosewood, Florida, or the Ocoee massacre in Florida. The governor requested federal troops. These troops were supposed to restore order. In fact, many of them engaged in the massacre. They shot people down
We have
in the
10
streets.
seconds, Paul.
They shot people down in the woods. And so, again, those murders were never prosecuted.
Well, we can't leave it there, so we're going to continue this conversation and bring you part 2 at Democracy Now!
Let's go to Revelation chapter 13, verse. I forgot. Yeah. Close out with that. You man, you guilty. You man. I have no words for you, damn devils, man. Let's go to Revelation chapter 13. You have nothing to say to me. You. Revelation chapter 13. Verse 9. It said, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity should go into captivity. He that killed with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints, right? Close out with that. We're going to give our praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Shah. Double honor to the apostle, brothers, and elders of great millstone. Shalom to the hope for the elect. Shalom.